The county chair would like to, will be calling the executive committee for McLean County to order. We have all members except member Erickson just showed up. All members are present. We have a quorum. We can conduct business. We're at 2, and that's consent agenda. We have approval of the meeting minutes for December 11th and the recommendation of bills and transfers. Our bills total, the regional planning is $25,929.54, and the executive committee is $1,069,007.89. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? We have a motion by our chair, finance chair Friedrich, and a second by our transportation chair, Mr. Rogal. Is there any discussion or questions? Seeing none, all in favor of the consent agenda, say aye. Opposed? That motion passes. We're at number 3, and it's appearances of members of the public. Are there any requests for speaking for members of the public?
Madam Chairman, we've had no requests this evening.
Very good. 4, departmental matters under executive committee. And I think that should be going, doesn't that generally go to you?
In the meeting.
Oh, in the meeting, but not here. All right, very good. Thank you for clarifying that, Chair Johnston. Executive Committee, we have appointments and reappointments. And may I have a motion to accept those appointments and reappointments? I have a motion by Chair Schaefer and a second by Chair Johnston. Vice Chair Johnston, questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the Executive Committee departmental matters, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion passes. We will move to 4B, and that is Finance Committee, and we have Chair Friedrich.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Finance Committee brings no action items before executive today, and we will be bringing 2 items to the full board, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
4C, Health Committee, Chair Schaefer.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. The Health Committee has no items for action today, and we have 1 item for the board.
4D, Justice Committee, Chair Erickson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Justice Committee has 2 items for action. The first item is item 4D1A. Request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2023 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance for Fund 0001. And I so move.
May I have a second? We have a second by Vice Chair Johnston. Any discussion or questions for Chair Erickson? Seeing none, all in favor of the approval of the emergency appropriation for Fund 0001, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Chair Erickson, the floor is yours again.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The next item on the agenda is item 4D. Thank you, Madam Chair. The next item on the agenda is item 4D1B, request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2024 combined annual appropriation budget ordinance for Fund 0001, and I so move.
May I have a second? We have a second by Chair Schaefer. Any questions or discussion? All in favor of the approval for the fiscal year 2024 emergency appropriation amendment for the budget Fund 001, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Floor is again yours, Chair Erickson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Justice Committee has no other items for action. We do have an additional item to be presented to the board. Thank you.
We have 4E, Property Committee, and we have Chair Lehman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Property Committee has no items to be presented for action this evening. We do have 2 items to be presented before the board, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
No questions? Go to 4F, and that is Land Use and Development Committee, and we have Chair Klein.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. The Land Use and Development Committee has no items for action today or items to present to the board, but I'm happy to answer questions anyway.
I do want to make a comment. It was nice not to have a ZBA meeting. So thank you very much. If you arranged that, I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Chair Klein. We are moving to 4G, and that's Transportation Committee, and we have Chair Rogal.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Transportation Committee brings 1 item to the board tonight for action, 4G1A, request approval of intergovernmental agreement between the City of Bloomington and McLean County to perform specific maintenance items on streets and county roads, and I so move.
And may I have a second? We have a second by Chair Lehman. Any discussion or questions? All in favor of that intergovernmental agreement between Bloomington and McLean County for maintenance of streets and county roads, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Floor is again yours, Chair Rogal.
The Transportation Committee has no other items to be presented for action tonight. We will have 3 items to be presented to the board, and I can answer any questions.
No questions. That moves us to 4H, and that is the report of the county administrator, and I am going to let Ms. Taylor take those.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The first item that I would like to present to committee for your consideration is 4H1A, request approval of a contract with CCG Consulting to complete a broadband feasibility study for rural broadband expansion.
May I have a motion? We have a motion by Chair Friedrich and a second by Vice Chair Johnston. Are there any questions? No questions? I do have one question for, if we could, Mr. Grant. This is the group that you have been working with or was recommended to you for quite a while ago, correct?
That's correct. When we received notice that we were receiving DEC funding for the 80,000, we reached out to a network. There were 3 companies that were recommended in this agreement. Actually, as 2 of those 3 companies, CCG Consulting and Finley Engineering, were 2 of the top 3. So we got 2 out of 3 on this one.
Very good. I thought that it was, that we were at that point, but I wasn't 100% sure. So thank you very much for that clarification. So we have a motion for the request of approval for the contract for CCG, and that's for that broadband feasibility study for rural broadband expansion. And all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion passes. Ms. Taylor, the floor is yours again.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The second item is 4H1B, request approval of agreement with Baxter and Woodman for Kamlara Park Sewage Treatment Plant Rehabilitation Design and Bidding Assistance Project, and that's on page 18.
And I need a motion on that. We have a motion by Chair Lehman and a second by Chair Schaefer. And any questions or discussion related to this? All in favor of the Baxter and Woodman Kamlara Park Rehabilitation Design and Bidding Assistance Project, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion passes. Thank you. And Ms. Taylor.
Thank you. The next item is 4H1C. I do have some Scrivener's errors that I would like to present for this before we take a motion, but this is for request approval of an ordinance by the McLean County Board amending Chapter 108, Personnel Policies and Procedures of the McLean County Code. The Scrivener's errors that you will find if you'll look at your packet on page 27 under national origin, the sentence should read, "The place in which individuals or their ancestors are born." The attempt there is to make gender-neutral language. The next item that I would like to point out is on page 46, and it's under 2B, about halfway down the page. The sentence should read, "The employee shall contact the McLean County Administration Office." And lastly, on page 51, under E1, the third line and the fourth line should be changed to say, "Employed 1 year or longer, comma, there is a special sellback feature, so individuals do not forfeit the benefits they accumulated."
And please help me where that one is.
It's on page 51, under E1. If you look under E1 on the third line,
Got it, thank you. Yep.
individuals do not forfeit the benefits they accumulated.
Perfect, thank you. So with those scribblers' errors, and they have been updated then or changed, I need a motion for 4HC, and that is amending Chapter 108 of the Personnel Policies and Procedures for the code. And I have a motion by Chair Schaefer and a second by Chair Lehman. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, all in favor of the amendments to Chapter 108 of the McLean County Code, say aye. Aye. Oppose? That motion passes. And the floor is again yours, Ms. Taylor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have no other items to be presented for action. I do have 2 items to be presented for information to this committee. That is in reference to the documents that were passed out to you this evening. The first is a report from the Ecology Action Center outlining some statistics from the Dropbox recycling that we are a part of with the city of Bloomington and the town of Normal. It is my expectation that we will be receiving an updated intergovernmental agreement to consider next month at our board meetings. So this is to share with you how that program is doing, who is utilizing that program, and where those spots are.
Questions? I do have a question. They are going to be presenting an intergovernmental agreement, again, asking for money from this board, correct?
That would be correct. It would be an intergovernmental relationship between the city, the town, and the county to split the costs of this program.
1/3 by 1/3? And that's what we had this passed in 2023.
That is correct.
Any additional questions? All right, very good, thank you. And it looks like we're going to go to other business and communication. Is there any other business or communication? Looks like Chair Schaefer.
Thank you, Madam Chairman.
I think we'll go back. I think that Ms. Taylor would like to have something, a comment on, I think this, right?
Yes, thank you for giving me the floor again. I would also like to point out that in addition to the Dropbox recycling, Ms. Morlock also passed out to you the resolution adopting the 2024 legislative program for McLean County. That was inadvertently left off of this agenda. And so we present it to you this evening so you have a chance to review it. Call us if you have any questions. Call the chair of the legislative subcommittee if you have questions. And then we will be presenting that at a stand-up on Thursday prior to the board meeting.
So all those individuals that are on the legislative subcommittee need to be prepared for a stand-up, correct?
The executive committee will need to
Exec-
be
So it'll be for
prepared.
us.
Correct.
Okay, very good. So our group will need a, and I think that's the only stand-up, is that correct?
No.
So far? No, we've got a few other, oh, we
have
have
bills.
land use.
Yep.
Yeah, land use. And one more then, potentially. It's all right. We may have more stand-ups than just that. We'll just leave it there. And I think Chair Schaefer, I'm sorry, I jumped the gun. So thank you, Chair Schaefer, for stepping aside momentarily, and the floor is now yours.
Thank you. Last Friday, our Director of Behavioral Health Coordination did a presentation as the first presenter for Leading Change, the Illinois Innovation Series, which was scheduled through the Illinois Office of Illinois Courts, put it that way. And it was the first presentation in a series that they're going to have based on the Illinois Mental Health Task Force Action Plan from the Supreme Court. And he discussed our FUSE program and explained that to probably about 40 or, no, there was about 70 people on that call. And him and two of his staff members, Nicole Kirsten and Marita Landreth, yes, did their presentation, and that information is on the Illinois AOIC website under the mental health, and the slides and the presentation. I don't know if the video is up yet, but they're going to have the video on there too. So it was very informative. There are a lot of people that had a lot of positive responses to our FUSE program and as to how we do things in McLean County. And we were the first again in doing something like this. So just wanted to give a shout out to our Department of Behavioral Health Coordination, even though they're not here tonight. Thank you.
Any other business or communications? Seeing none, our next meeting is February 12th at 4 p.m. and this meeting is adjourned.